Good morning everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today is March 15th and I just had this little kitchen task to do for a few months now and it's today that it's going to happen. So as you might or might not know, I live in a very cold zone. I live in actually a zone 2. Our growing season is very short and this is my almost third year that I've been doing this, but it's been my first year preserving, my first year with a real not complete garden, but a garden as big as the one I have now. Next summer it's gonna be even bigger, but all that being said, I'm trying to find my way into self-sufficiency and into at least knowing where my food, what I feed my kids and my husband come from. So this year I've been testing myself a lot with the food I preserved. How far could I go with the food I had? So by doing the pantry challenge in January, completely legit pantry challenge, I didn't go to the grocery store except for milk, and bought eggs from a friend of mine which is near us. This tested a little bit what I thought I was able to, which was feed my family for a month, which was completely done. In February I started going back to the grocery store because I do have a lot of food, but a lot of it repeats itself, and I do have some stuff that my kids don't enjoy that much, or I don't enjoy that much. So we do try to eat these foods, but I don't want to spend like a month eating stuff we don't necessarily enjoy that much. There's been recipes I've been testing, some canning recipes I've been testing. So long story short, one thing I tried this year was buying a lot of pumpkins when it was pumpkin season. So in September we had these pumpkins for like $2. We had these pumpkins for like $2 at the grocery store. When I was planning my garden, was to actually grow winter squash for the winter, but that failed. I had this fantasy of filling all the top of my kitchen cabinets with squashes. I thought it would be beautiful. I thought it was only the only place I could store these. And before you say anything about the heat, I am well aware that it's not the perfect place to store things on the long term. But my house being heated with a system that heats the floor, there is nowhere in my house that I can put food that is actually, you know, in a dry, warm place. So I bought these pumpkins in September, and I bought 3 of them. They've been sitting on my shelves for this time. I wanted to wait, and I also kind of forgot about it for a while, but today, as of March 1st, it's been 7 months and we're going to open one and see if it lasted. So best case scenario, it's perfectly edible and it's fine. I think it is because it doesn't seem rotten or anything, but worst case scenario, it's not good to eat. And I learned my lesson with $2 pumpkins. Pumpkins is something that for years I didn't know. I was wondering why were people buying like canned pumpkin and stuff like that. I was young and pretty naive back then. I didn't think it was good to eat. I mean, good as in I knew it was edible, but didn't think it was actually tasting good. But today I have a ton of ideas of what to do with this one. We're not only going to use the seeds as snacks, but I'm going to use the meat of the pumpkin. I like to cook some soups, mostly, along with some sauces. I use the soup I make, or at least the base of the soup, to mixed with cheese, and this is our mac and cheese sauce. So it adds a little bit of vitamins and nutrients to our ordinary mac and cheese. And I think for this morning and maybe a few mornings tomorrow and maybe the day after that, I'm gonna keep a little bit of it to actually make some pumpkin spice latte. One thing I used to do a lot in the past when I didn't know what to do with it, actually, I would, when Halloween came by, I would, like the 1st of November, I would go on Facebook and ask for people to give me their pumpkins if they didn't plan to eat it. A lot of people buy pumpkins and don't eat them. A lot of people decorate one and have a few others to decorate and don't really plan to eat them. I would go as far, I'm not a shy person. It's funny because I'm a shy person when we meet, but I'm not a shy person as in I'm really not shy to go meet a stranger and ask them for something or give them a compliment. Many times I've found someone like shoes to be really awesome, so I would go by and tell them, or things like that. So I'm not shy. I was not shy to go and knock on doors on November 1st or 3rd or whatever, not far after Halloween, to for people that had some pumpkins on their front porch, uncut pumpkins, to ask them if they planned on cooking it, and if not, if I could have it. And funny thing is, I always had people giving me their pumpkins that way. I didn't do it this year because I already had three of them. I think one year I ended up with something like 9 of these pumpkins, which is a lot. I didn't have as many kids back then. I had a really tiny house. So what I did was actually cook it all in the stove. That's the thing, I didn't know how to cook pumpkin. I thought we had to scrape it all first, but I'm not gonna do that today. But I used to cook it and then put it in 1 cup portions in the freezer, and I would have pumpkin literally for the year. And each time I wanted to add something to a sauce or to a soup or anything like that, or even a smoothie sometimes, I would just pull out a bag of pumpkin. It was all 1 cup, and I always had this on hand, so it was pretty nice. I'm gonna start by washing it because it's still pretty dirty, and it's been sitting on my shelves for months. So not that we're gonna eat that, but just to make sure that I don't have some dirt going inside. So there's nothing more simple than cooking a pumpkin. I'm just going to cut it in half. Or maybe in four pieces. Let's see how it looks inside. So this looks perfectly fine. Smells perfectly good. We have all those seeds I'm gonna take out. These are the ones this is the more less enjoyable part. I think I'm just going to remove as much as I can, and when we're done, I mean, there's always some pumpkin seeds left when you cook it, but so I'm gonna put that in a bowl. This is pretty much the most annoying part, in my opinion, but it's still not that bad. See, that's one of the things that happened. Actually, I think I'm gonna cut these in 4. I'm gonna oil these just a little bit on a sheet pan, and then it's gonna go in the oven at 350 until I feel it's cooked. what I like about pumpkins and squashes and stuff is how versatile it is. I said I was putting it in sauces and soups, but I also put it in muffins and cookies and anything that can be blended. It's something that can be blended in anything, make it like sugary or salty, whatever. It's really, really, really nice. So we'll have that cooked. Afterwards, I'm gonna eventually wash my seeds and have them cooked too, to have a small snack. A small snack the kids completely love and devour my pumpkin seeds. So time flies by so fast. I'll let them in the oven for maybe, I don't know, an hour. It's almost lunchtime, so I'm cutting onions. I think I will just do soup with this one since I have 2 other pumpkins to eventually cook. This is really not the hard part, as you can see. Oh, those onions are strong. I did I did clean up my fridge, and I had some oh sorry, some of my apples were not really looking nice, but still good. So I'm gonna do a soup with these onions, apples, pumpkins, and maybe some carrots. Carrots are longer to cook, and I didn't look at the time, so I don't know what I'll do if and they're in pretty bad shape too, so I really need to peel them thoroughly. So I'll see how it goes, but I'm not sure if we're gonna have, maybe I'll just put these in for lunch, and later this afternoon I'll cook the carrots and add them to my recipe, so that way we can eat the soup and still have carrots for the future soups. I could maybe I could can this, but I'm not sure. I didn't follow a recipe, so I'm not gonna do that. I like to freeze them in freezer bags, complete frozen, like really thin. That way it's super easy to get out of the fridge. I put that in warm water just for a few minutes, and then it's back in its liquid form, and then we can just heat it up and eat it. One thing I like to have in my freezer is a lot of soups, but this is why, right? I feel I'm justifying a few things that doesn't make the least sense. I don't know if I make sense to someone who didn't see my freezer. The thing is, I just order a really huge groceries, so I don't know, I feel that each time I do the grocery I'm like, so yeah, next time I'm gonna just continue and go on and empty up my my freezer and stuff, but then I end up when I have no more fresh stuff. That you probably hear a lot behind me, right? There's a lot of noise, sorry. So my freezer is still pretty full, but not as full as it as it was. It was so full that it was really the kind of full that, you know, you have to put stuff and like shut the door really quick and hope for nothing to fall on your toes when you open it back. Now it's pretty decent. I'm still trying to have a good rotation in my stuff. Trying to eat what we don't like, maybe like once a week, to go through that. I'm trying to teach my kids to eat what's on their plate, even if they don't like it. Sometimes when I really messed up a recipe, I mean, they won't have to eat it if I like oversalted something or anything. But now what I'm trying to say is that I like to have some soups, but it's not like we're eating soup just for a meal. I think this is why I'm feeling like I need to buy some stuff, but I still have a lot of stuff because, for example, I'm gonna I'm gonna often serve some soup, but we're gonna have sandwiches or something with it. So we rarely eat just a soup like that. So I'm gonna fill back my fridge with that, which is nice. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So we're now the next day. What you saw is actually the soup I made, which ended up just being apples, onions, and pumpkin. It was really good. I might have put a little bit too much pepper in there, but for the kids. I found it perfect, my husband too, so I did put it in bags, in freezing bags, and maybe smaller portions because the kids won't eat as much. Je sais pas, va voir dans ta chambre. Because when I unfreeze it, most likely that it's gonna be just for us. But it was really nice. The rest, so I did take half the pumpkin for that, and the other half I did put in the fridge overnight. But I planned on doing like muffins or something with it. But I had a terrible night last night, so I just put it in freezer bags and smaller portions, maybe 2 cups per bag, and that's gonna be for another day. So this was a really simple, pretty basic video for this spring. It was really something to pass time while waiting for the snow to melt. It's definitely more springtime here. We're nearing zeros almost every day. Snow is melting. I'm starting to see some spots of gravel under my snow in my yard, which is like, I always take a picture of this, like the first time we're not walking on ice or snow in the yard. But it's still really too soon for us to do any more than I did plant a few seeds, but we're not really intense in this area yet. It's gonna come soon enough, I think. I just wanted to publish this because I think it's really nice. You know how Jess from Roots and Refuge always says, turn your waiting room into a classroom. This is something so easy to do. If you struggle paying your bills, if you struggle each year to make ends meet, the pumpkin is a really good thing to have on hand. I think that's the point I was trying to make today. I still have 2 of them. My pumpkin was not even near rotting or anything, and we're in mid-March. How many months did I say? 7 months, and they were far from being in the perfect ideal spot for storage. So if you have a spot that is more in the cool side, it would be even better. So I'm always trying to help people on Facebook that I see struggling with their finances and buying food and stuff like that. And sometimes it can be intimidating to say I'm gonna start a garden or even gardening in pots or whatever, but now it's not the time. But when fall comes, if you can get your hands on pumpkins, free pumpkins or cheap pumpkins, these pumpkins were like $2 or $3, and they did fill. This one filled for many meals, and the 2 left are going to. So the pumpkin is really something I think we underestimate. We buy one, we use it for decorations, and then we toss it. Maybe we will cook the seeds. Yeah, I didn't cook the seeds yet, so that's something I'm gonna do. That's a really nice snacks. It's super nice to put just as snacks, but I like to roast them and put them in salads, or even more like bowl type of foods like poke bowls or things like that. So when it comes to reducing our food bills, I think we need to look at the pumpkin for more than just a decorative thing or a costume, or just a seasonal holiday item. We really need to load up on them, and they can give us some nice nutrients all throughout winter and spring, and I'm pretty sure during summer. I'm probably gonna cook these before summer, but I'm pretty sure next summer they're still gonna be edible. I hope you enjoyed my video. It would really mean a lot to me if you could comment, subscribe and like. It really helps YouTube algorithm to help push my channel and help me grow. So thanks for hanging out with me, and see you next time. Bye.